Howdy goons, welcome to hashtag not sponsored, where I review a product and it's not sponsored. I bought it with my own money and you're getting my unfiltered opinions because people aren't disclosing when they're sponsored, so I disclose when I'm not sponsored. It made more sense in my head. Anyway, I'm someone who brings an emulation handheld with them wherever they go. Normally something small that very easily fits in my pocket, but as you probably know, I also use retro achievements a lot, something that needs internet to work. While this isn't a problem for Android handhelds where I can have multiple networks on a single device, it doesn't change that Wi-Fi isn't available everywhere I go, especially on the road. This has led me to a couple solutions, using my phone with touch controls, which no thanks, or using a telescopic controller where even the smallest ones are still impossible to pocket. Or the last option, the Pocket Taco from Gamesir. After receiving it, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. It's small enough to fit in my pocket and comes with a protective case that's also small and fits in my pocket. Gamesir also happens to be a company that I'm a pretty big fan of. The Tegenaria Lite is still my most used controller, but it was only 20 bucks, and before this, the X5 Lite, or whatever it's called, was my most used telescopic controller. Both have great but very different D-pads and good buttons, so I was pretty confident that buying another controller from Gamesir was a good call. Let's talk about that name for a second though. The Pocket Taco. Every time I've said the name, someone would make the joke that I'm talking about an adult toy, and that I'm some kind of perv for bringing it with me wherever I go. What can I say? I just love whipping out my Pocket Taco in public. It is definitely an adult toy. It's a controller made for retro gaming. As for the pervert thing, I have it in my will that I want people to delete my browsing history. Unfortunate naming aside, I'm just happy that they're using names that are actual words. After reviewing so many AmberNet handhelds that have names that would turn on a computer, I'm happy to have something pronounceable. Besides, the marketing team's job is to make the product stand out, and with a name like the Pocket Taco, it definitely succeeds. It helps that it's kind of like a taco, but I also think it looks like an angry evil robot with a big chin, or like Frankenstein's monster. Just give him some bolts on the side of his head. This is a great controller. It's designed to look just like a Game Boy original with some modernizations. It's not even subtle on where it's borrowing its design. The gray, the D-pad with the notches, large buttons, squishy select and start, even the font choice is very Game Boy. With the additions of 4 bumpers, it makes most things playable but lacks analog sticks, but for those kinds of games, I prefer a horizontal-based form factor, which would immediately ruin its portability. This is the best they can do. But unfortunately, the vertical form factor does have its drawbacks. They weren't made with bumpers in mind, and pretty much every handheld to ever try incorporating bumpers and triggers onto a vertical form factor has resulted in either discomfort for me or just in general uncomfortable pocket feels. So of course the Pocket Taco continues the trend of having bad bumpers. Aesthetically, they're nice because they fit the shape perfectly, but they aren't comfortable. They lack the raised L2 and R2 that has become commonplace on emulation handhelds. They're completely smooth, and small size makes it a little tough to comfortably press the main 2 bumpers, let alone the L2 and R2 buttons. I don't think this matters much, since all these systems that have 4 bumpers are also systems with analog sticks, which the Taco doesn't have. This is pretty clearly for Game Boys, the originals, colors, advances, and stuff like SNES, NES, and the many systems without sticks or the L2 and R2 buttons. In practice, you're just going to use them for hotkeys. It works super simple though. There's an asterisk there because it's simple as long as you're on Android. Even my decade-old Android phone, I just open it up to start syncing, add it as a Bluetooth controller, and then it immediately works. It reconnects pretty much instantly. Didn't even need the app. I did have to remap it since RetroArch defaulted it to the Xbox style. I also had to remap my hotkey buttons because I was using L3 and R3 to open my menus. After that, I just adjusted the anchor viewport bias to move the screen to my preferred spot, and that was it. Just 5 minutes to set up on Android. I might be broke, but at least Android works perfectly. Since it's a Bluetooth controller, it can be used unslotted and with every Bluetooth-enabled device under the sun, even the notoriously picky Switch 2. It'll work with iOS. I'm just stupid and broke, so I never tested it. I should probably pick a struggle instead of multi-classing. Right now, this little guy has taken over my everyday carry handheld. Anytime I go out, it's in my pocket. My phone goes with me everywhere, and I love being able to use retro achievements on the go. Also, my phone is stronger than all of my handhelds, so it just feels like the smarter option. The only issue is using up your phone battery, but I have a backup battery in my car, and my car has USB ports. Charging isn't really an issue for me. But it is smaller than any of my handhelds, even with the case on, so it's very easy to bring everywhere. Well, there's one handheld I have that's smaller, but I won't even really call that a handheld. It's the RG Nano. I've discussed this before. It's easier to boof than it is to play on. Whether it stays my EDC will depend on time. There's always that recency bias. This is where you prefer the new thing because it's new, not necessarily because it's better, but because it's new and shiny. The only thing I can can do about that is just give it more time and see how I feel about it later. So I'll do an update if my thoughts change. As for games, it's going to be the best for anything without sticks, so your retro pixel classics. It also depends on the device you're using it with. With my phone, the screen width is close to the width of the controller, 2.75 inches wide, which is probably the ideal. Anything less wide might be too short to peak very far above the controls, so your iPhone 5 probably won't look great on this. Anything wider might be uncomfortable or cause false touch on your phone. On my phone, GBC and GB are as big as they are on the Pocket Air Mini. I find that to be the perfect size, large but not so large that it makes the device bulky like the Cube. The Cube is great, but it's definitely a home handheld for me. GBA is well sized on it, but due to being a wider ratio, it has a lot of letterboxing on a vertical phone, and it looks odd. I thought it might be too small, then I measured it, and it turns out it's the exact same size as the RG34XX, which I said was pretty big in the past. Next time someone you're with says 3.4 inches is too small, tell them that I said it's all about perspective. I didn't mess too much with 4.3 content, I just played a couple of things to test it out, Genesis, Game Gear, because the screen on my Pocket Air Mini is much larger, especially for 4x3 content. It's the largest 4.3 content device that I have, 4.2 inches. Again, 4.2 inches is plenty. GBA was much larger on it as well. DS is pretty good if you set up the screens well and have a stylus like I do, because I use a Note. I find anything with heavy bumper use wasn't enjoyable, like Metroid on GBA. The D-pad is very precise though, almost too precise. I found it very hard to do Tatsumakis and Hadokens mid-fight. It's doable though. Maybe someone who's better at fighters would fare better, but in Alien Hominid and platformers, I wasn't getting any false inputs, and A presses on Mario I had a lot of control over. I could easily do half jumps and full jumps. But I have seen people complain about this D-pad and say it's really imprecise. Maybe they fixed it, but I feel like it's almost too precise. It's best for GB, GBC, and SNES internal resolution, 8x7, but anything with a ton of bumper usage might be uncomfy. If you have something like the Galaxy Flip, this could be great for that, as everything else would take up less space. The biggest issue I had with it is that it's not something that you can leave on your phone the whole time. Due to the controller covering up a lot of the screen, you'll need to remove the controller to use menus and to launch games. So I'd launch games, then pop on the controller, then I'd have to take it off to use RetroArch settings, but once all your settings are all together, then you're good to go. Even when you're switching games, if you're someone who switches games frequently, you will be taking the controller off and on very frequently. If you're looking for a controller for your phone and don't mind vertical layouts, there isn't a more convenient product on the market, especially for just 35 bucks. Gamesir made another banger of a controller, and I don't think anyone was really asking for this one. But who do I recommend this for? I think this controller is perfect for 6 kinds of people. First is people who like retro achievements so much that they won't play a game if they can't get achievements for it. This is the ultimate tool for people like that and me. 2, if you're someone who is struggling to find time to game, then this is a device that's great for taking advantage of those tiny windows. It is faster than setting up a Linux-based handheld or turning on a Linux-based handheld and waiting for the game to boot. 3, people who play with touch controls and want to find a real controller but don't want to drop $80 or more on a good emulation handheld. 4, people who want to keep things simple or are on the more casual side of emulation, the kind of person who will spend more time playing than spend tinkering. Number 5 is the Pokemon fan who likes to play a lot of ROM hacks or DS. And lastly, number 6, older folks who aren't nostalgic for stick-based systems. It's great for parents like Tetris moms, Mario dads, or Pokemon parental units. If you're a content creator though, I really don't recommend it, as recording options on phones aren't as good. You should probably stick to playing emulators on your PC where you can take advantage of things like replay buffer, unless you do a lot of gaming that requires grinding, like I'm in the middle of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. To get all of the achievements, I have to do stuff like grind out card drops that are as rare as less than 1%, multiple times. I also don't recommend it for sleepy gamers, as the buttons are loud enough to wake any sleepy time partners, including waking the dead. That's it for this one. If I have any updates, I'll let you know in a future video, with a link and a pinned comment below the video. But this is something I find myself using pretty seamlessly with my lifestyle. I'll take it on the road into Magic Night, and when I get knocked out early or someone is taking too long of turns, I'll do some grinding while I wait. Super recommend it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. Don't know what to comment? That's fine, just tell me what your favorite handheld is, or what some games you'd like to play with the Pocket Taco. I'm enjoying the RG34XX, the Pocket Taco, and my Pocket Air Mini right now. They sent me a new shell, and I'm trying to get my time out of it and see how bad the currently cracked shell can get before I have to replace it. If you're on Retro Achievements or Blue Sky, feel free to follow me. I'm Nimzy Nova. Lastly, check out the Discord to talk emulation, handhelds, and games with me and other goons. Thanks for watching, and thanks to the members on YouTube like Dragon Fanatic, AstroPixie YT, Linky, and Willie Pete. Bye!